Hurricane season shifting into another gear. We're entering a period here where I expect us to blow through the hurricane names with multiple threats to keep an eye on. From the Caribbean islands to the Bahamas to even the United States, there's some suspicious activity that I have my eyes on. Let's get right to it. The tropics are waking up, simply put. The Caribbean and the Gulf are danger zones that have intense heat energy right now to where it's like a can of open gasoline. If you have the match near that gas, it's going to explode. We don't have the match there right now, but I do see signs of tropical activity trying to enter those areas, and if they do, we could have activity blow up. I do see some Gulf sneaky systems possible, couple of them in fact, and we're entering a very active period where I expect us to get multiple named systems. Now, the tropical outlook, get used to this. We're likely to see areas on this outlook each day. We're probably not going to see very much opportunities here to have a blank slate, okay? We're entering a very active period. But both of these waves that we're watching are entering an area of extremely dry weather. We have dry conditions from Saharan dust in the Atlantic, which is going to act to try to squash that activity. But the models here, which I'll show you in just a moment, show some of these systems rolling through and kind of emerging in this area early next week, Monday, Tuesday. But even then, we would have 4 or 5 days to track it for the United States to become a threat. But for you folks in the Bahamas, the Caribbean islands, Puerto Rico, need to watch that activity closely because you could get some enhanced rain. Now, due to the dry weather right here, I don't expect anything to blow up into anything intense in the next 5 to 7 days. But what we need to watch out for is this tropical activity that's very, very weak entering the Gulf, but could turn strong once it's there. Right now, there's nothing more than just some organized thunderstorms here and there. Nothing compact or low pressure, okay? Even out into the Atlantic, look at this. Clear, smooth sailing right now. If you're taking a cruise, Caribbean islands looking smooth right now. To be in the St. Martin, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, or Haiti, just fine. But this activity, as it moves west, does have a chance. It's sitting in water that's just boiling right now. 85, 87, 88 degree temperatures, which is more than enough and actually too warm to where we have this fuel, like I mentioned. Anything that gets into this area in red would have the chance to explode in intensity, okay? So we need to watch waves. Now remember this area because as I map out our spin, that's basically at its infancy what a tropical system is. You got to have spin to get it going. And right now I see several waves that we'll need to watch this week rolling off the coast of Africa. And get used to it. We're likely to see that happen. But look at this. You see the Bahamas right here by Thursday? I suspect we're going to have a hatched area in here in the next 48 hours. Because the models are picking up on, in fact, our ensemble models, an average of all of them put together, are hinting at this activity, which has me even more concerned. Not just one model and one run of that model. I'm seeing consistency here that we've got a wave that's, to be honest with you, pretty weak entering the Gulf of Mexico by this weekend, okay? Probably nothing more than just some rain. But as it gets into that area, remember I showed you that area is primed up for development. If you get something there, it can explode, and that's what this model's showing. It at least explodes initially. It's weak going in, so you're likely to see probably a tropical depression or tropical storm. The models aren't very high or keen on developing this into a strong system, but the signals are there for something to be in the Gulf by early next week. Our GFS model shows this as well, a little bit different on time frame, more like next Wednesday, Thursday, but it shows it. Here's a wave, here's a wave, here's another wave. And moving forward, we need to watch that because it could provide, at the very least, some pretty intense rains back here toward Texas into next week with more waves back here to watch. And that guy is in an area that is not great for the Caribbean islands or Puerto Rico or, how far south it is. So should we get these waves, they need to be watched closely. And again, the GFS model, same thing here, looking for spin. Look at all the waves we got to watch. So again, that's why I think we're just going to go through these names probably in pretty quick fashion here over the next couple of weeks. Probably have 2 named systems here within the next 10 to 15 days. And look at that, another big wave moving off the coast. But I draw your attention here Sunday to the Gulf. It's also got a weak wave here, a weak wave in the Caribbean. But look as I map this out a little bit deeper. It's got a bigger wave forming here next Tuesday and then moving toward Texas by Thursday. Same thing the European model showed, except for this GFS is stronger. It's just a little more delayed. It also is not necessarily just Texas. It also has Louisiana in its path. So not to say that we take this for gospel, I'm just telling you the models here are showing me a signal that as we approach the peak of hurricane season, we need to watch out for development. And I'm seeing signals here in my models to tell me that, especially moving forward, we need to watch this activity because it's about to get very active. And I want you to pay attention to this, to please share this with your family and friends that are in the Gulf, that are in the Caribbean. We need to watch this with a close eye. But the good news here, time is on our side. Should something form in these areas, we have days to track it before it's a threat to the United States. So even so, if anything were to form right here, we have 10 days to track it. And what the models are showing here is some of these waves emerge out here. We're in the 4 to 6 day time frame. So even if it does emerge out and survive that dry air over the next week, it's still 4, 5, 6 days away from being a threat to the United States, okay? So nothing that I'm too terribly concerned about, but we need to keep an eye on it. And moving forward, that's going to be my concern and have my focus especially. So looking ahead, we're approaching the peak of hurricane season. Strong African waves look to continue to move off the coast, and we're likely to have daily, if not weekly, systems forming. We're likely to get a name here, a name there. After all, we're forecasting 12 to 14 named systems, and we've got some action to do here before we get through that list. The eyes are especially on the Gulf and the Caribbean in the coming days because they are hotbeds right now for activity. Should a storm system or a wave get into that area, it could form. This is the place to keep that in mind. If you are interested in tropical activity, maybe you have interest to go to Disney World, to go on vacation to the beach, or like me, you have family along the coast or in the islands, you need to share this with them, okay? My philosophy when it comes to tracking severe weather locally in the Carolinas and Georgia, where I broadcast at, or on the big scale looking at tropical systems, is to not hide anything for you. I'm going to be very transparent, not hyping anything, but to inform you. My job is to inform you so that you can make decisions to keep your family safe. And my job is to describe that to you in a responsible way. So this is the channel to get that information. Should something form, you'll hear about it, and I'll give you the no-nonsense forecast for you so that you can make plans for you and your family, because I know there's a lot riding on it. It's no fun dealing with tropical activity, but my commitment to you is to keep you informed every step of the way.